trying to figure out how to match the right diet to each MAPS program? Watch this.
Our first caller is Bergen from South Carolina.
Hey, Bergen, how can we help you?
Hi, guys. So I'm super nervous, but I wanted to thank you guys first for, doing everything that you do, putting all the free content out that you do. It's changed my life. I know you've helped a lot of other people too. And I wanted to thank you too for finally creating MAPS Symmetry. I broke my leg 2 years ago and haven't been able to balance out my lower body ever since. So I'm on finishing up week 1 and it's already such a good program. So
hell yeah.
Wow. Awesome. So glad.
We'll send you that $50 for that plug later on.
Great commercial. I appreciate it.
So anyways, my question, it's a little bit long-winded. I started out as a trainer in 2013 in big box gyms. Made a career change to a desk job in 2018 and then realized how much I missed training. So thanks to you guys, I found NCI. So I'm going through level 1 and a bunch of other of their certifications. One of the most pivotal things that they talked about for me in the certification was the idea of periodizing diets for clients. So they put it in terms of in-season, post-season, off-season, and pre-season. So, in season for a typical weight loss client is going to be like the actual cut phase, going for whatever their goal is. Off-season is going to be reverse dieting, returning to homeostasis, focusing on biofeedback. So my ideal clients for the business that I'm building is females with a history of yo-yo diets that have tried everything and haven't had success, maybe have some hormone imbalances, cortisol issues, things like that. So my question for you guys is how would you take that periodization seasons idea on the training side? So take an average, maybe 40-year-old client, female client that's been chronically dieting. She's not in a place where she should take on a diet. So how would you take that client from off season to, the diet phase on the training side?
I like this question.
That's a really good question.
I like this question.
Bergen, by the way, did we see you at the coaching con? Were you there?
No, I was not. I really wish I could have gone.
Okay, no problem.
Next
one. All right. So look, so this is a good example of this is a common mistake a lot of coaches and trainers make when they start to learn new information. Is what we tend to do is we tend to overcomplicate things and try to apply that information in areas where they don't necessarily need to be applied, or in ways that might be maybe not as beneficial. So let me explain what I'm talking about. So what you mean with the nutrition or how they're breaking up nutrition. Very beneficial, makes tons of sense. That's how I would work with someone's diet. It's perfect. Now with workouts, and the way we wrote our workouts is totally different. Now we phase the workouts based off of the body's ability to adapt, and the programs themselves are specifically designed for a target type of goal or adaptation that we're looking for. So, MAP starter would be really good for a total beginner, for example. MAPS resistance, maybe somebody who's a little bit more advanced, who has some little bit of experience with barbells and dumbbells. MAPS anabolic further, right? Great for strength, but very much stuck in one plane of movement, but very good for strength and metabolism building, performance, obviously more mobility and movement focused, but also great for strength and muscle building, and then so on, right? Aesthetic, more bodybuilding, more volume, that kind of stuff. So really what you want to do, Bergen, is you want to pick the program that works best for the client's goals and their workout history and their current fitness levels. Now, from there, as a trainer or coach, this is the beauty of being a great trainer or coach, is you can modify it to suit the client even better, because as much as we try to make the programs as applicable as possible for the people that we design them for, we're still writing them for a general audience. So what I would do is I would take, let's say you took your client and they're, somewhat experienced, or maybe they worked out a couple years ago. They're not really working out now. You want to speed up their metabolism, so you want to build muscle and strength. You're going to, MAPS Anabolic would be a great addition. But within MAPS Anabolic, I can look at the program and say, okay, I can go 2 foundational workouts a week, or I can go 3 foundational workouts a week, or I can go 1 and bring it back from there. So that's how I would use the programs. I wouldn't look at the programs specifically as preseason, off season, postseason, type of goals. It doesn't really work that way. In fact, if you look at MAPS performance itself, it looks like how you would train a client from off season to getting right before they get
peaking
into
right before season.
Yeah, but really don't apply the nutrition, what you learn with nutrition in this context, to the programs specifically, because it won't work that way.
Now, that being said, there are some things though that I think she should look out for. Like, so say for example, you allow a client to drive your decision on what program because they say, I just want to look a certain way. So you put them in something like, anabolic or aesthetic, and then they go to split, and they become very focused, like bodybuilding type of programs, because they care about how they look the most. And so you as a coach, you keep picking all these MAPS programs that are focused around, but then you neglect to do things in different planes, like which performance and symmetry provides, right? So I do think that there's some like mild rules that you would want to kind of follow as a coach. If you found yourself doing like anabolic, aesthetic, split, all like back to back, and then you have a client who's complaining of like joint pain or even just chronic pain because maybe the volume of training is too much for them. So there are some things like that where you as a coach have to be able to pay attention to that and go, oh, that's because we're neglecting, unilateral work, or we're neglecting other planes of motion. And so I need to incorporate performance or symmetry, even though this person's goal is build more muscle. So I do think that you got to pay attention to that. Now, we don't talk about this a lot on the show. We did early on. We wrote the programs in a specific order. If you follow that order, no matter what you're doing diet-wise, so that you're going to be fine, because we took that into account, like that no matter what your goal is, everybody at one point should run through performance. So if you go anabolic, performance, aesthetic, and you cycle through that, say every year, you don't allow yourself to completely neglect that, you'll be fine. So I think there are some things. It's not as cut and dry as like dieting, where it's off season, on season, reverse dieting like that.
Yeah, speaking to the training side of it too, and it wasn't mentioned in any of our Prime programs in here, but the Prime Compass test is something that's very valuable for coaches to always take into account, like if you're transitioning from one program to the other or before you start the program, really what you're working with, like what kind of imbalances are there, dysfunction, any kind of loss of connection. And that way you can make those decisions in terms of like, what you can focus on, whether that's unilateral work, whether we need to work on multiple planes of motion, or if it's pretty straightforward, we can kind of get after it and just work on muscle building. Like that's something I'm always actually cycling back in to retest. So even like sometimes I'll take it in for like every month we get through a training cycle, and I want to see what the body looks like after that. So that's just something to consider.
Yeah, and I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to make it real simple for you, Bergen. Can you be on a diet where you're cutting and run MAPS anabolic? Yes.
No.
Can you be on a diet where you're reverse dieting and be on anabolic? Yes. Can you be on a bulking diet and run MAPS anabolic? Yes. Can you be on a diet where you're trying to work on your gut health and follow MAPS anabolic? Yes. This is true for all the programs. All the programs, any kind of diet will be appropriate so long as the context is appropriate, so long as the program is appropriate for the client. It really doesn't matter if you're cutting, if you're building, if you're reverse dieting, if you're maintaining. The program is the program. So what a lot of people get confused with is they think, here's my cutting program, here's my bulking program, and really the reason why people see value in doing that, because you'll talk to people who do that and they go, oh, but it works. Every time I do that, it works. You know what worked? Is that you changed something.
Yeah, or you're consistent.
I could go, look, classically, just to give you an example, right? Classically, bodybuilders would say that supersets and giant sets and short rest periods are better for cutting because the thought was, well, you're burning more calories. So I can see where the rationale comes from. But honestly, your body adapts really fast to that. Just like it adapts to any kind of resistance training program, any kind of workout, regardless. Can you do a strength building type program where you rest 3 minutes and do a cut? Yeah. In fact, if that's what's different for your body, if that's what's novel, that's better than going with the idea that you got to do supersets and all this other stuff. So look at the workout like this. What workout is best for my client's goals and their history? And then the diet you can apply, and it doesn't matter what diet you do. And of course, modify the workout, whether or not it's working, if it's too much volume, or too little volume for that individual. Diet can affect those things, but that's where you observe as a coach and say, well, all right, we're cutting calories. MAPS aesthetic is really high volume anyway, and now it looks like it's too much volume because the calories are so low. So now we're going to reduce the volume a little bit. Does that all make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's really helpful. It's helpful for my own personal programming too.
Yes.
Very,
Excellent.
very cool.
Yeah, very cool. No, I thanks for calling in, Bergen. And you know what? Because you're a trainer, I'd like to give you something.
What are you missing?
Are you missing any of our program? Any program in particular you really like to have access to?
I mean, I used to be a competitive power lifter and I don't have power lift.
Oh yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
We're going to send you a 5% off coupon. I'm just kidding. We'll send you Mass Powerlift right now, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
No
This
problem.
is really cool.
Thanks for calling in.
I like that question.
Yeah, what a common
because
mistake, right?
We get, and I'm glad you addressed the way you did and made it simple, because it's probably one of the most common questions that I get is like,
how do I eat in phase 2?
Yes, someone buys a program and they go,
why don't we have paired meal plans to go with our programs?
Should I bulk on this? What it is people just want to be told what to do.
Want to simplify it.
But the truth is, you said it perfect, is that there's tremendous value in running anabolic in all the different ways of dieting.
Yeah.
And that goes true for every program.
Yep.
And so,
have you ever cut have you ever cut on a straight up strength program?
Yes.
I mean, that's how I got shredded.
I've done all the above.
Yeah.
And there's
there's
science.
there's muscle preserving factor to that.
It doesn't. I mean, I've done the high volume superset giant sets when I'm bulking too. It doesn't. This whole pairing thing that we tried to rationalize, really, it's more about like, does it work? Is it novel? And is what your body needs?
You can pull science to support all of them. So, and I think the most important thing to and you addressed it also, is the novelty. If you always run supersets, during the year, and you're getting ready to go into cut, well, supersetting in that cut is not a great idea, because you've been doing it. And what would be great is a anabolic type program, 5x5 strength with long rest periods.
Right.
So because it's novel, right? Because you haven't been doing that. So I think that's the big takeaway with this. But we do get this question a lot.
And then one thing to add to that that I didn't even tell her, it just dawned on me. Also consider your psychology when you're training, when you're switching your training program. I definitely will lean towards, now I've done strength during a cut, okay, and it was really effective because it was novel, but I definitely lean towards shorter rest periods and supersets when I'm cutting, but it's not because that's a superior way to work out.
No, you don't want to feel like a wuss because you know how strong you are when you're calorie.
I got to go lighter anyway, right? So,
Yeah.
and if I'm cutting my calories and I'm trying to lift, heavy, and I'm watching the numbers go down, it messes with me psychologically.
Totally.
So that's something else to consider.
I agree.